So let me share with some of the homework for last two sessions. One is the time management, and the other one is like last week's. Okay, I know 2 weeks ago, and Brother David Luke told us, teach us how to listen. It's very important. We have to listen before we talk. So this is one of the homework for the time management quadrant. I have some of important things, okay, because how to manage time for all the students. The most important thing is the class. Okay, it's a class, and it's you listen in the class, you learn the class, and you manage your time. So here are the tips I have for everybody. The most important is to have a very efficient and effective methodology for studying. So the first thing, always spend a little bit of time preview the topic before class. Read through a homework question if possible before class. So if you know what the homework question is, and you know what's important topic, important content for the teaching for this chapter, because homework, the purpose for the homework is for you to repeat what you have learned and see whether you can answer the question. If you can answer the question, mean, oh, you really learned that. So if you study the homework first, very, very quick, okay, 5 minutes, you glance through very quick, you see all the keyword terminology, they ask you about it. Then suddenly, when you listen to the teacher teaching this chapter, you prepare. Oh, he's going to talk about this topic. He's going to talk about that topic. I need to understand it. So when I do the homework, I already had answer. That right? So this is pretty much another trick of what we talk about to begin with the end in mind. So when you study the homework, not a study, I'm sorry, when you just read through the homework question, you actually had the end in mind. Oh, those are the homework I have to take care of. Those are the questions I have to answer. Which topic, which in, which are the critical word terminology. And then when you listen, the teacher teach, you have a very good frame structure trying to understand. Okay. The same thing when you preview the chapter. It's just like read a novel. Okay, preview the chapter during the weekend, you have time to glance through it, trying to see what it's all about. Okay, basically, you're trying to find the frame structure about what the teacher is going to teach. Okay, this is the first very important step. And don't take it as a serious assignment. Just take it as in the leisure time reading. Okay, then after the lunch, before go to sleep, you read through very quick, and you will find out it help you so much. Okay. And then second thing, after you do the first one, then listen very carefully to teacher's teaching with already big picture already in your mind because you already done the preview. And then you'll find out sometimes you get lost a little bit, either because the teacher is not teaching very clearly in detail, or he forgot to describe all the detail you really need to know. So this is the time you need to stop the class and raise your hand, ask a question. Guess what happened? When you ask the questions, teacher is very happy there because what teacher dislike the most is a quiet group. Doesn't look like they care, and they don't have the question. It doesn't feel like they're paying attention. So that make it very, very boring for teacher to teach. If suddenly a question preview the material, a student preview the material and ask the question, he's all excited. And his energy level get bumped up by one notch. And your attention level, of course, is already there. So you're the leader actually of the whole progress of the class, okay? And then, of course, you'll be the one learn the most. and you'll be the one who have the best grade. Okay. Then do homework immediately with the time available after the class is over. I think most of the time you have 3 or 4 classes a day, so you will have 3 or 4 hours in the school available. So at that time, the best utilization of that time is really working on the homework, doing the study immediately. Okay. So when you get home, your homework is already reduced by, I think, 50%, 60%. So you will find out at home, you have so much more time. Okay. The number 4, take note in the class. Because you already have the frame structure, you already begin with the end in mind. So you know exactly what is the most critical part of the class material. So you start jotting down, oh, this is about the homework question. This is about the major topic. This is about this is about that. So when you take the note, all the note you take is very critical for you to take the test in the future and to answer the homework question immediately. So this is very important. Then the more you take note, the more you practice flow, the more you take the note, the more you understand the material. Pretty soon you'll find out you can be as good as the teacher. Actually, you can teach the material. Okay. So this, and then you will find out that it's so much easier to get good grade, and you have so much more time in your hands. So a lot of time the people have the good grade does not necessarily smarter than the other people, but they're better at time management, better at the methodology, better at the preparation for the material for the class, and better at communicating with the teacher. Okay? So this is very important. Okay? So let me go to the next one to see how the homework. So this is the one student doing the homework about listening. The first thing is I struggle with keeping an open mind. I usually hear what others say, but I'm not usually affected because I think I'm always right. I did not take the time to actually try to understand other opinions. I love this one. I love this one because this is pretty much 99% of the people are in this mode. Okay. So in a way, this is our simple nature there. We are arrogant, we are prideful, we're proud of ourselves. And once we start fill ourselves with all the ego, there's no room for the other people coming in. There's no room for the other teaching coming in. So we build our own opinion before we accept other knowledge. Okay, so this is called subjective, and so we need to be objective. All the knowledge has to be objective, and then we have to be humble. This is why the Bible keeps teaching us that the disaster happened after we have a prideful heart, and then we can prosper if we're humble. So if we're humble, we're humility. We have a humility, and we can start listening to the people. So usually, the humble people speak less and listen more. However, it doesn't mean he doesn't speak up when it's necessary. So he always speak up when he find out other people get it straight, or he find out that other people don't necessarily have the right information. So he starts speak up. I run into a couple extremely smart engineer, almost a genius. So every time we have a meeting of a lot of engineer, I find out a lot of people talk a lot of the idea, and he usually those very smart people usually just stay quiet, smiling and observing. And eventually, sometimes I have to ask him, say, "Okay, what do you think?" Then he gives his opinion. So I ask everybody else, do you all agree? Everybody look at each other, yeah, we agree. So that's funny. So why does such a smart people is so quiet about the discussion in the group meeting? I think one of the reasons he just get tired of correcting people's problems, get tired of listening all those mistaken information, misleading information. So unless you ask him to speak up, he just decided, okay, I'm not going to speak up because I cannot spend my whole life keep correcting people. That's really interesting. That's what I find out. Okay, but that's not necessarily a good attitude for smart people. But however, it does show very smart people usually don't talk too much. It's very humble. And second answer, you say we can first see if we are understanding what the speaker is saying, how to improve the listening skill. Then we try to see it from speaker's point of view. Oh, this is very important. Empathetic listening. So you have to put yourself in the speaker's shoes. After that, we decide we want to apply it to our life or not. Every time people talk about something, if it's meaningful and useful, and we're supposed to use it and in our daily life, especially Bible. So when you read the Bible, if you don't think about application of Bible into our daily life, and then Bible is not helping us, that right? So we have to practicing how to use every verses of the Bible in our daily life. But then, of course, we have a big challenge here because Bible teaching us thousands of great wisdom point there. And our daily life have 100,000 of different kind of situations. So how do you match them? It's very hard. So the only way you can do is try to memorize as many verses as possible. And then whenever you get into certain kind of challenging situation, guess what happens? The Holy Spirit will bring up the right verse to address this situation. And that's how it works. Okay, that's why the Bible says that Holy Spirit will remind us of what Jesus teaching. And that's how it works. Okay. So in the Thursday, in my next conversation, I can listen to see how much I really understand and then ask questions necessary. I will highly suggest, the same thing like listening to the clients. After you listen to teacher teaching, the best way you can try out to understand whether you really catch all the materials. You really understand every detail. You know what the best way? You're trying to teach your friend. You're trying to show your friend what the teacher is talking about. Why is this equation there? What does this mean? What does that mean? What's the big picture? What's the detail? If you can say that, you can teach one of your friends, and your friend can understand, you can understand, then you really understand the material. Play as a teacher right after you're a student. Play as a teacher. It's not easy, but after you practice a while, or sometimes you can teach yourself. Oh, wait a minute, I'm going to teach myself about the speed. What does speed mean? Oh, speed is the distance divided by time. Okay, what's the time? What's the unit? Okay, all right, talking about the energy. What is the momentum? What is the energy? Can I explain to myself very clearly? And what does this mean? What does that mean? You keep asking yourself, you keep explaining to yourself, you start getting understand more and more. Okay. That during this process, you start really understand the detail and the content of the teaching material. Once you can do this and make it through, figure out every detail, and when you go to the test, you go to the exam, there's no way you can make mistake because you understand what's really going on in that material. Okay. So no matter how they ask a question, you don't worry about. You already got the fundamental in your hand. You already got everything in your hand. You have control. So no matter how do they change the format of the questions, no matter how give it all kind of different variety of the question, But the bottom line, you know the theory, you understand the fundamental, and you can get a pretty good grade. Next one is about time management. So the first is how to get rid of the quadrant four, video game, play with my brother, drawing, reading for fun. It's not necessarily bad. Okay, playing, drawing, and reading for fun. It's not necessarily bad. However, we have to try to reduce as much as possible all the activity in quadrant four. I think this is a quadrant three. To check in the score, check the score to see what my friends are doing. It's urgent, but it's not important. Okay. I want to respond to my friends as soon as possible, even though it's not important. So again, the same thing for the quadrant three. You need to learn how to reduce the amount of time to spend on it, but not to mess up the people's relationship, not to mess up something you have to do, the chore you have to take care of the family, not to mess up the relationship with your family member. So this is important. So you have to learn how to reduce the amount. We're not trying to say wipe out everything in quadrant four or wipe out everything in quadrant three. No, we're not talking about. Okay. Then of course quadrant one, everybody have it. Okay. And then the quadrant two. Okay, we're going to talk about quadrant two today in a lot more detail. Okay. This is a suggestion I gave to one of the students. He liked to read, and he asked him about what kind of material to read, what kind of book to read. How do I know it's going to help me or not? So my suggestion is the best way to find out your talent, your passion, as well as God's plan for you, is to have your parents just drop you in library. I'm sorry. Just drop you in library. Okay. Saturday morning with lunchbox and some drink and pick you up before dinner. So you can just walk through the whole library and find out the books you have interesting, glance through it and read it more. Sooner or later, you will start to hone in the category you really like, really intrigue you. Okay, it really trigger your passion. And then you really like to read it and will help you in the future. And this is how you can find your passion. How do you can find your interest? How can you just scope around the world and eventually, before you leave the high school, you pretty much should find out that the first thing you probably read a lot of book already. You have so much knowledge about this world. And then you find out something intrigue you very much. And then you can start doing it. And sometimes you can find a successful model, role model you can follow. So biography of great and successful people always very beneficial to read. And most of our presidents in early stage of this country are great role models because at that time they're very close to God and they're very philosophical. I have a lot of character. It's not about money, it's not about power, it's not about status. It's about helping this country, helping the people in this country. Okay, I admire a lot of those presidents very much. And they are God chosen one for this great country. Okay, that's why this country is so successful. 200 years, okay. And there's a book called The Everyday Greatness. It's a very good beginning for you to understand what the greatness is all about. Okay, you can go by this book. There's a lot of short story to tell you how to build up the character and some of the successful people, not necessarily famous people, but very successful people have the great character, great integrity. Okay. And knowledge is power. Book over history, nature, engineering project, economy, sports, music, arts, science, computer. All these are really fun to read. Okay, really fun to read. So reading a book or going to Google search on topic, okay, you will find it very interesting. Give you an example like engineering project. You can find or even the YouTube. Okay, I highly recommend You search the right project for the YouTube, and you'll find out there's so much knowledge there. Give you an example. How do you build a big dam? Okay. Store so much water. And how do you build a big machine? Okay. How do you automate the fruit picking? Like how do you automate the picking the orange? How do you automate the picking the grapes? And how do you automate this? How do you automate that? It's just so amazing, so fun. How do you automate the factory? Okay, the bottle factory, and how do you automate the apple assembly line? It's very interesting. Okay, this is called an engineering project. The economy, of course, the economy is something about our life, so it's very important. Music, art, science, computer language, knowledge about computer is a must. Okay, it's a must for every people. Okay, for every young generation. Okay, for every young generation, computer knowledge is a must. The basic computer programming is a must, and the computing too. Okay, all kind of Microsoft too is a must. You cannot get away from. Okay, so this is basically the fundamental tool you gotta have so you can survive in the future. We're not even talking about parts working. We're just talking about survive. So the computer is very important thing. Okay, so you read all the book, gradually you'll find the field you have passion for, and your talent relate to this field, and God's plan for you, it gradually start showing up. It's very interesting, okay? There's so many random things. Gradually, one pattern starts showing up. Gradually, your passion starts showing up. And gradually, your talent starts showing up. Gradually, you can see what kind of job you like to do. Gradually, you can see what kind of role you're going to play in this world. And then you're going to be very successful, okay? You're going to be very successful, especially if you have a good role model. I would like to talk about all of you become a millionaire, billionaire. Okay, I'm not saying the people who doesn't have the big salary is not contributing to this world. I'm just saying if you can have a good job, full use of talent, and help the people, help the team succeed, you will get paid pretty well. Okay. And if you manage the money well, you can make more money. However, because you're a person of character, you're a person of integrity, you're a person of love, so you're basically going to be a very, very good philanthropist. You use the money to help the people who need help. A lot of people doesn't have exactly same comfortable environment we grow up from. We call it disadvantaged people. Okay. So we need to help them out. It's very hard to help those people, okay? Because they were raised in a totally different environment and their thinking and their value system, the word that the perspective look at this word totally distorted. Okay. It's not the same as you and me. So it's very hard to help them. So only the people with a lot of money power, okay, with a lot of resource can help those people because it takes time and takes a lot of investment. It's not something, oh, you just give you the money and job is done. No, no, no. You gotta have the money, you got the right people, you gotta have the social worker to work with them to make them turn around. So this become our job. Then also it's important to set up the right education system, set up the right sports program, everything to help all those disadvantaged people. Okay. Okay, so this is all the homework summary I have. Now let me go through today's. Okay, we'll continue this time management matrix. Okay, we'll talk about the important quadrant one, important urgent, and then quadrant two is important, not urgent, and quadrant three is urgent but not important. Like people talk to you, call the phone, they text a message to you, and people ask advice from you. People ask to do something with you, okay, or you ask you to do something with them. So this urgent but not important. The number one, of course, not important, not urgent, but we still spend a lot of time on it. So let's say the first quadrant you do it, second quadrant you schedule it, the third quadrant you delegate it. But however, as a use, you don't have many people to delegate. Okay, if as a manager in the company, you can delegate the people. Okay, and then the delete for the quadrant 4. Try to get rid of it as much as you can. It's not easy. So most probably you will always have some quadrant 4. Here's the trick. On the beginning, we thought quadrant means equally time. Okay, you spend equally time on every quadrant. You begin it probably with this. You probably like this. Okay, every quadrant 25%, 25, 25%. But however, the good time management gonna squeeze the quadrant 3, the quadrant 4, but reduce the quadrant 1. Listen carefully. I use a different word for that. Squeeze means I want to make it as small as possible. Reduce means it gets smaller naturally. And then guess what happened? For a successful person, most of the time, you need to work on the quadrant 2. You need to work on the quadrant 2. If you take out the quadrant 2, the quadrant 1 will always be there. But sometimes, for any business, they will always have some emergency problem. Like they have a blackout in the factory, production line gets shut down, machine broke down, you had to fix it. All this kind of emergency problem. And for quadrant 3 and quadrant 4, you just squeeze it. Okay, how do you squeeze it? You just say no to the task after you think about it. And how do you enlarge the quadrant 1, quadrant 2? Say yes, yes, yes. Okay, so eventually the ideal case, it's my gut feelings, okay? 60 to 70%, or even 80% on quadrant 2, 5-10% on quadrant 1, and 5-10% on quadrant 3 and 4. Okay, this should be the good distribution, especially for the student. You really shouldn't prepare for the test until the night before. You really should already get prepared 2-3 days before. Okay, because you have so many different topics, so many different tests. So the best way is just like I said, you're almost well prepared right after you finish a class, you finish the homework, you already have all the answers to the question, you wrote it down, you take the note, you're ready. You're ready for exam. Okay. So that's what I need to do. That's why I like the American education system. They give you a lot of project to do. Because project usually take time. You cannot just say, oh, I have a project tomorrow, so I need to do it tonight. Especially a project usually is done by a team of people there. So I don't think you can wait until the last moment. Become very urgent. So the project itself, it pretty much belongs to the quadrant 2. The nature of the project itself is quadrant 2 task. Okay? So strategy to manage a time management manager is to enlarge quadrant 2, squeeze quadrant 3 and 4, and naturally reduce the quadrant 1. Okay? Enlarge quadrant 2, squeeze quadrant 3 and 4, naturally reduce quadrant 1. So there's the tactic. The first one, learn to say no to tasks in quadrant 3 and quadrant 4 by saying big yes to tasks in quadrant 2. A lot of passion and motivation. So there's a lot of tasks in this quadrant 2. If you say more to this task, and naturally you have less time for 4 and 3. And naturally, this will reduce in the quadrant one. So how do you say big yes for quadrant two? You'll find out you have a passion and you have a motivation. Okay. Passion and the motivation and get you to do something you like to do. Okay. So even it's not urgent, but you know it's important. And if you do it, you will reduce the urgent cases in the future. And so you will have the passion, the motivation to do it now. So this is very important. Learn to say no to tasks in quadrant three and four. By saying big yes to tasks in quadrant two with a lot of passion and a motivation. A lot of passion and motivation. And give you an example. Very simple thing. Exercise. It doesn't matter if you play sport, you don't play sport. You need to exercise. What's the reason for exercise? For the health. So you have a good physical condition in the future to be successful in your professional job. Many high-level managers, like the CEO, the president of Texas Instruments I used to work for, he used to run triathlon. That good shape. Then the other senior VP run marathon. So they all wake up like 5 o'clock in the morning and they can work 10, 12 hours a day. It's no problem for them because they have a good health, physical condition while they're young. I think that's a good thing about the American education system. Usually they focus on the sports because they want to build up a good physical condition for every student. But however, for some Chinese family, they emphasize a lot of academic excellence, and the student start losing the interest and getting tired easily, so that they do less in exercise and sport. Okay, that's not very good. But however, if you understand how important it is for the sport and exercise for your future success to be a millionaire, billionaire, and very successful philanthropist, and then you will find out, wow, I want to work hard. I want to have a discipline because the future is too important for me to throw it away. So you don't want to lose your health and fail in your career. And there's this sad story and this funeral service about this young successful engineer, actually is entrepreneur, and passed away at like 40 something years old. So during the memorial service, one of his friends walking and speak up. And he said basically, my friend, throw away his health and then lose all the future, okay, all the career future. It's quite a shame. But he said, unfortunately, I'm his close friend for 20 plus years. I had exactly the same kind of cancer and I'm fighting for it. And the prognosis is not that good. Maybe another 2 years or 3 years. So you don't want this kind of tragic things happen to you. Okay, so that's why you have to make sure you understand health is the foundation for everything. You cannot have health when you lose it and you want to build it up. It's always too late. You're always too late. If you work, if you work out regularly, you will have a healthy body 10 years from now. So I'm 70 years old. So I walk every day now. Okay, I think I'll be healthy 80 something years old. And the reason I'm healthy now because I walk every day when I was 60 something years old. Okay, so it's always built up for the future. But however, so many tragic stories, sad story. But ignoring the health, just work on making the money and build the success and be academic excellence. But then, boom, suddenly the switch turned off because people have cancer, people have a heart attack, people have the stroke. the light turn off, and future is gone. Not only that, you add a burden to your family member. Okay. That's a very sad story. Okay. So always make sure, take care of your health. The health foundation for everything. You don't have a healthy physical condition, you will feel sorry in the future for sure. Okay. Don't wait till it's too late. So this one example, you understand the necessity, you understand the why you need it in the future, then you start have passion and the motivation, then you work on it. So this you can say big yes. Okay, on the quadrant two. Then tactic two, be proactive. Be proactive. What the proactive means? If you know it's good, I need to do it. You don't wait till it's too late, and you don't procrastinate. If you know it's good for the near future, the long-term future, and you want to work on it, it's called proactive. You don't need somebody push you to do it. And mission-driven, this is why be proactive. Because remember, we talk about mission statement. What kind of person you want to be? What kind of success you want to reach? What kind of people you want to be and you want to help? So you have a mission, okay? So you have to be mission driven. Mission and the vision help you have a passion and a motivation, okay? Because those are the noble goals, and they turn on your inside energy, okay? Because God gives us a glorious image inside. God gives us a heart. So if you have a noble goal, your heart will follow it. Seldom people with heart follow low class goal and it's not noble. Only noble goal, our heart will get just suddenly get turned on and get motivated. I want to do something good for the people. I want to do something to help the others. I want to do something to be a great philanthropist. I want to do something to be a great politician and change the community. So this is kind of a mission and a vision will give you passion and motivation. Okay. So be proactive. Begin with the end in mind. It's just like those two. Think about this. Too heavy we're talking about. Now you understand why, Lara. You added this time management. First come first. Suddenly you become a person, have a good discipline, good habit, and you're going to be successful. This is why we call the seven habits the highly effective people. They're very successful. So be proactive. Begin with the end in mind. Then you manage your time management metrics. Okay. Then you become the what do you call very efficient and very effective to manage the time. First come first. Tactic three, principle oriented. Build up your value system. Everybody had a value system, except some people had a short-term value system. Some people had a long-term value system. Some people had a nearsighted value system. Some people had far-sighted value system. And some people had the materialistic value system. Some people had the spiritual value system. And some people, it's a business-oriented value system. Some people, it's people-oriented value system. So you all have value system. So the best way to build your right value system is read more and study Bible more. Go to church often. Then you will have the right value system. The only right value system is God-centered value system. That's why I tell you what's the definition of successful life. You develop talent given by God. You use a resource supplied by God. You fulfill God's plan for you on earth. You manifest God's glory because the God put the conscience in you. You know exactly what's good, what's bad, and what is glory, what is not. And you want to make this world a better place in God's kingdom through salvation of Jesus Christ. So this called everything is about God. So this called godly life. It's called godly life. Everything God-centered. And so based on the Bible, this is called successful life. But guess what? None of this in conflict with what the people think success in this world. It's not in conflict. Like people say, oh, that's a billionaire. What? This successful life definition doesn't stop you from being a billionaire. Actually, it will help you to become a billionaire. Am I right? And you can see a lot of successful people are great philanthropists. They have all kind of charity foundation. Does this definition of successful life prevent you from being that? Not at all. It helps you to reach that goal because you want to utilize talent, utilize resource, and fulfill God's plan. And you manifest God's glory by doing all the goodness. That's what philanthropists do. So if you keep this definition of successful life in your mind forever, you're going to be very successful. Not only from spiritual perspective, I'm pretty also from earthly perspective. You can have status, nothing wrong with that. You can have the fame, nothing wrong with that. You can have the money, nothing wrong with that. As long as it's all about God. It's not about yourself. Is that clear? So if this is clear, keep this in mind. This is our mission, this is our vision, and this is our goal. So once you have this principle, this mission, this value system, this goal, guess what happens? It's easy for you to list activity. Okay, like today on the quadrant 2, you have all the activity. You want to say yes to them. Then you have to ask question, why yes? That right. Then you got this, I call it correlation matrix that I create for you. Okay? It's just an example. It's just the way you're thinking, okay, the way you keep this matrix, okay, spreadsheet in your mind. Then you have the quadrant 2 activity, 1, 2, 3, 4, all kind of activity. Give you example like we say the exercise. Oh, wait a minute, exercise. How come the exercise help me? Well, it helped me in talent. It helped me on resource. It helped me on do goodness. It helped me on God's plan. It helped me on everything. Is that right? So you can put X on everything. So, wow. So in the future, for my successful life, I need all of them. I got the number 2. You go to the library, read the book. So how does that relate to my vision, my successful life? Oh, you can find your talent. You can understand what the resource is all about. Okay, and maybe I can find a God's plan for me. So suddenly you find out, okay, it is related, close related, heavily related for your vision, for your mission, for your successful life. So if you keep going through, you will find out every activity listed in quadrant 2 should be able to help you in the future, not only near future or the long-term future. Of course, you do the school, you learn the math, you learn the physics, you learn the computer, you learn the history. That's all build the foundation for you to be a good professional person. And that's also the foundation you can utilize your talent. You cannot utilize your talent without knowledge, am I right? And you can utilize the resource because all the knowledge is about resource. The more knowledge you have, the more resource you can reach and you can retrieve. Okay. So all this will help you. Give you example, play piano. And you say, wait a minute, why does play piano help me? You have to understand. You have to find out why play piano help you in the future. Okay, piano can help you maybe as a better, more peaceful person and make your brain work harder and make your memory better, make your skill coordination, everything better, make you have a more channel to relate with people. And music is very part of life. Also, you cannot just everyday professional, and you get a depressed anxiety. But the music help you calm down. Okay, music help you to enjoy whatever the world has given to you, God has given to you. So there's all different reasons. Okay, you can figure out your own way to correlate it. Okay, I'm not going to help you on every detail because I'm not that objective either. Okay, because I have my own understanding, not necessarily match your understanding. But you can sit down with your friend and with your parents, are we thinking, why this help me? Because I have to spend time on it, Dara. I have to say big yes to this. If it cannot motivate me, cannot just give me some encouragement to do it, and can I make me feel it's valuable in the future, then I cannot do it with passion, okay, with all our effort. So you have to discuss with your parent because most of the time you can accomplish a lot more if you're self-motivated. And you're self-motivated because you know there's a value in there. It's for your goodness in the future. There's a noble goal there, and you can motivate yourself to that goal. If your parent had to push you, force you to do something, and you're not self-motivated, then you cannot say big yes in this quadrant two. You can only say small yes. It's all because my parent forced me to do it. Oh, I don't really want to do it. Okay, because you don't understand why you need to do it. Am I right? So this is what's the important thing. Just keep understand the value system, keep understand your mission, understand vision, and talk to your friend, learn more and learn more. All the successful people are very self-motivated people. All the successful youths are very self-motivated youth. And you should be self-motivated before you hit the middle school. And your parents shouldn't really manage you, okay, or force you to do anything when you reach the middle school. You really should be able to know what's good for you, what are the school require out of you. Not most, all of what school require of you are good for your future, because that's what the government do. Have a very set up a very good education system for you. So when you go to the school, don't think you're forced to do something so you can just I'll just meet the basic requirement. I'll get by with it. No, 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 no. Government create the education system, find a lot of good teachers to help you, to equip you for your success in the future. So you should be self-motivated to find out what are all this for. And so you utilize all the school resources to help you succeed in the future. If you think your parent had to force you to do it, push you to do it, and you don't like to do it, we have a problem here because you don't know what the education system is. And you think the government build the education system trying to hurt you. No, that's wrong. Yeah, that's wrong. Trust me, that's wrong. Okay. If you have any more questions, you can ask your parent, talk about it. Then another question, interesting about because you have so many activity lists in the quadrant two, and you have so limited time. How do you choose? I cannot do everything, but sometimes few people want me to do everything. So you had to balance. Okay, you have to balance. This whole important thing of balance. Academic is important, health is important, and the hobby is important, and people relationship is important, and life is important, Bible is important, church is important, everything is important, am I right? So how do you balance it? How do you balance it? So in order to balance the all facets of life, okay, it's very important things. This give example. Okay, life is about family, about health, about job, about community that still have a four leg, and you have a trophy on top. If all these four support you and make you a successful person, you win the trophy of life. But if health broke, one of the leg broke, the trophy fall. You're not gonna have a trophy. If you have a broken marriage, you fight with your family member, and you broke, you're not gonna have a trophy. And you're not a community person, and the people around you don't like you, you broke the leg, you don't have a trophy. You couldn't find a job, You don't have a good income, you don't have a good trophy. So let me ask you one question. This is more like a quiz test, okay? How do you keep all this four leg balance so this trophy don't fall apart? What's the most important part? What's the most important thing you have to do? Many times people will say, "Oh, all the four leg had to be exactly the same, and if you one leg is short, I extend it." Oh, well, you cannot extend it. Okay, you have to cut the other three short. That's not something you want to do. Am I right? So you want all the four legs start balancing at the same length, and then you still need to figure out what's the most important thing before this stew. Most fundamental important thing for this stew stay balanced and the trophy on top don't fall apart. Guess what? Answer for the question is you gotta have a very flat, stable foundation. You have to have a very stable, flat foundation, solid foundation. Remember what did Jesus say? Build your house on the rock. Don't build on the sand. If you put a steel on the sand, very easy, everything will fall apart. If you put the house on the rock, solid, you can build family, you can build health, you can build community, you can build job. So I have a very good understanding about life. What life is all about. What is the physical body is all about. What is our mind is all about. This is the foundation. What is value systems all about. What is God is all about. This is our foundation. So that's why the only foundation you have, basically Jesus gives to us, that right? It's God. It's the Holy Spirit. It's the Bible's teaching. And Jesus is our role model. So once you have a good solid foundation, good value system, good principle, you gotta have a character, you gotta have integrity. Everything else a lot easy. Okay, all you need to do is just make sure you have all the right lists in quadrant two and go ahead and work on it one by one. Proactively and mission driven and vision driven. Okay? I have 2 minutes. I give you the homework assignment. Please list out the activity quadrant two you need to work on in next 2 weeks, just next 2 weeks. Because your parent, your school already help you make a lot of arrangements. So this are quadrant two. But however, even doing it, you might not understand why you have to do it. And unfortunately, a lot of teachers and the parents didn't tell you. They just say, go ahead, do it, go ahead, do it, go ahead, do it. Okay. But you need to spend some time to think about it. I try to justify every activity for short-term and long-term necessity. What make you say big yes? Oh, yes, yes, I want to do it, I want to do it. Say if you have a big yes, yeah, passionate yes, you have the burning desire to say yes, you are already self-motivated. Nobody going to push you. Guess what? When you have more and more big yes, you don't have time to worry about the quadrant four. You don't have time to worry about the quadrant three. They will just naturally disappear. Okay? Please prioritize them based on the degree of urgency for the near future. So even quadrant two, they have a timeline. Okay, they have a timeline. So if you don't do it next week, you'll be in trouble. Okay. So there's something you don't do it, end of this week, you'll be in trouble. But at least it's not like the quadrant one. Tomorrow morning, I'll be in trouble. Okay. So please prioritize them based on its degree of urgency for the near future. Can you do all of that in the next 2 weeks? Okay, this I'm really interested in finding out the answer from all of you. Can you do all of the next 2 weeks? My expectation is yes. Okay, because once you start doing the management, you have a lot more time in quadrant two. Okay, you have a lot more time in quadrant two. Okay, so the list should be taken care of in 2 weeks, no problem. Okay, so this is what we have today. And you want to ask question, and you can stay after we say the closing prayer, and write down the homework assignment. You can take a screenshot of this, take a picture. List all the activity in quadrant two you need to work on next 2 weeks. Please try to justify every activity for short-term and long-term necessity. You don't have to, let me emphasize, you don't have to follow that my spreadsheet at all. Okay. I just want that template stay in your mind. And then so you think about this all the time. So this is what I call the result-oriented thinking process. Result-oriented thinking process. Mission-driven, vision-driven thought process. And self-motivational. Okay, so this is very important. Okay, it's the way you think about it, always related to the end. This basically begins with the end in mind. So keep making this a habit, and in the future you'll be very result oriented, and your time will not be wasted at all. So God give everybody same amount of time. So whoever can use it more effectively, more efficiently, going to be more successful, going to have more money. Again, I'm not talking about money. The only way to judge value. Okay, people who don't make a lot of money still contribute to the society in a big way. Teacher, firefighter, social worker, they do very important things, but they want to work with all those good billionaire. Okay, to make things change. Okay, so it's a teamwork. So maybe your role is a millionaire role, and then you should make it very successful. Okay.